Buenas, ¿cómo está todo el mundo hoy?
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Mas with
Manolito, Manny, just Manny.
and Sean. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for coming back for episode 2.
Happy week. We're not going to tell you when we're recording this.
I mean, you might be able to figure it
out. Depending on our topics of conversation, yeah, it might lead to a good understanding. How's your week going so far, though? Like, it's been a couple of days into this week.
We're not going to tell you what day we record, but we're going to tell you that we're a couple of days into the week. That's fine. My week has been good thus far. Finished up pretty big project at work. Looking forward to the rest of this week. Other than that, it's been really good. How about yourself?
Well, my couple of days into this week have been great. Just chugging along because I haven't won the lotto yet. But I guess I have to play to win.
I mean, we have to play to win. We should really start doing... There was an article. This wasn't going to be part of the pod, but we're here. There was an article about a person that has won, I don't know if it was the Powerball or just like the local lottery like 7 times, and they have this method that they do where you spend like $30 a month on lottery tickets, then you like take a break and then you spend another 30. I don't know. It worked for them. I mean, they won 7 times. So there has to be like something to it.
Well, that's maybe we should look into that.
I mean, it can't hurt.
Can't hurt.
Every time we play, we do like usually win like $1. At least.
That's not even what we paid for the ticket.
It is what it is. One day we'll hit it big. You can buy your Model X. The world would be a better place. We should move out of Florida.
Depends who you're asking.
Facts. All right. So on this pod, we have a couple of topics. Manny's looking at me weird.
Yeah, a couple of topics. I just saw the first topic.
Oh, I added that. So we are definitely alike in some ways and different in others. One is I'm really into like gaming and
I am not.
Geek things such as Marvel or the MCU. I usually drag him along with me to see MCU movies. He's pretty versed in them now. Are you not?
Yeah, totally.
You know who the Guardians are?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Your favorite Avenger, who is
Thor.
Oh yes, you love
Thor. That big hammer.
You love that hammer.
That hammer is so powerful. He's funny too.
He's funny too. So we also usually watch the Disney Plus shows, which some of them he has enjoyed, some of them he doesn't care for.
The planet. The moon.
Moon Knight.
Yeah, that.
The planet.
They could have kept that shit.
You enjoy Ms. Marvel, Pakistani.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Family.
I thoroughly enjoyed that show. And I love the cross culture, which I'm sure people out there did not appreciate.
It was very much about diversity, but yes, it was one of the lower rated shows on Disney Plus. And a lot of that had to do with her being Pakistani, a woman of color. Yeah, I mean, the show was highly rated amongst diverse people, not so much white males, which is sad because it was a really good show.
It was better than Moon Crescent.
Moon Knight.
Whatever, same thing.
It just showed a different family dynamic, and them being Muslim and not being portrayed as terrorists or the bad guys. Like, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well written. But say all that to say, She-Hulk starts this week. I'm excited about She-Hulk. Manny said he doesn't want to watch it, even though Jamila Jamil is in it from Legendary and
The Good
others
Place.
at The Good Place. I was trying to figure out what the name of that show was.
We account her with Legendary before.
I mean, because
The Good Place.
First of all, we need to finish The Good Place.
Anyways, we're getting off topic here. Jamila, whatever her name
Jamila
is.
Jamil.
Why does she have two first names?
I don't know.
Am I wrong? Does she have two first names?
Jamila, that's her last name.
It sounds like two first names.
Yeah.
Anyways, it wasn't until this season of Legendary where I actually liked her.
Yes, you did hate her before in all the other seasons.
Yeah.
But you said it was because she's meaner this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Stop giving out 10s when they don't deserve it. Anyways, She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, super excited about it. For those of you who don't know, She-Hulk in the comics is the cousin of Bruce Banner, who is the Hulk. She gets a blood transfusion, which makes her... Okay, you're fine.
Oh, sorry.
That turns her into She-Hulk. Who's a very funny character. From what I'm seeing and hearing, it looks like this is going to be just set up like a 30-minute sitcom for Disney Plus. It's not taking itself too seriously. She-Hulk doesn't take herself too seriously, so I feel like it's going to be a good show, and I'm sad that you're not going to watch it with me.
It's fine. I'm sure in 2 to 3 months there will be a new Disney Plus Marvel fucking show.
And you gonna watch that?
Yeah, I don't know who is in it.
I don't know yet.
Okay, bring back Loki.
Loki is coming back for season 2, but that won't be until 2023, I believe. So you have a little bit of a wait for Loki. Oh, and your fave, Agatha.
Oh, Agatha. Yes. When did she come?
I believe hers was 2023. It might be 2024.
We don't have any production to Google links for us as we're conversating, so we'll just
we don't
take
have a
our
Kimmy
assumptions.
on the keys.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, check out that pod. What's it? Best Friends.
Best Friends.
Anyways, it's funny
with Nicole Byers and Sashir Zameda.
Super funny. We're like at the bottom of podcasting, but here we are promoting
somebody else's podcast.
But anyways, Nicole, if you just stumble upon this, love you.
I would love to have Nicole on our podcast, and I feel like she would do it just because she's so
down to earth
and fun.
I love her.
I love Nicole, and y'all know Nicole from Nailed It on Netflix, or Girl Code from MTV back in the day.
Sashir, she's hilarious.
Sashir was on SNL. She has a show on NBC. Forget the name of it, but she's been in other movies and things. So
hilarious!
Great podcast. Check it out.
I still remember the episode about the tools, like taking a shower with a tool.
They interview random people at the studio, and it amazed me how many people, one, don't bathe with like a washcloth or a sponge or it's just called it a tool. But like they just let soap drip down their body and they don't wash their legs. I know this was a whole thing a couple of years ago about white people not washing their legs. But the people that they interviewed and picked from random, like a couple of them did not wash their legs. And the one girl was like, I don't wash my butt. And Nicole was like, you shouldn't have said that out loud. It's like, okay, girl, you really should have kept that to yourself.
Anyways, we're in favor of tools here as well.
Yes. And in favor of a daily bathing, shower, whatever you do, make sure you do it every day.
Please.
Because we were watching another one of our faves, Married at First Sight.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the wives was like, I don't value showering every day, or it's not a priority for me. And we were like, I'm sorry, what?
Showering should be a priority every day.
Every day.
Every
If you have
day.
access to clean water,
even if
there's
you're
no excuse.
even if you're water dirty, try to rinse some of the stank off. It just, anyways. Where are we at?
We're gonna get into a couple of our topics for today. One of them, if you have TikTok, you may have seen this.
This segment is sponsored by.
It is not sponsored by TikTok. We're gonna talk about them, but they are not paying us any money. But TikTok, if you hear this and you do want to be a sponsor, we are open. Anyway, so there was a TikToker who posted on TikTok in front of a iPad and a crumble cookies. For those of you who know us and you follow us on social media, you know we love crumble cookies. They are delicious.
Yeah, I don't care if they're half baked.
I mean, sometimes they're a little underbaked.
Raw cookie dough is delicious.
But that's part of their charm, I guess. Anyway.
Who wants a crispy cookie?
So the video basically shows the iPad where you check out. And on the iPad, it says, how much would you like to tip? The person's total is $35.56. I don't know how many cookies they got.
It wasn't 6.
It wasn't 6. But basically, it sparked a debate over this whole tipping culture that we're in since the pandemic. A lot of places now you go and you slide your card or you tap your card. The first thing that comes up is like, how much would you like to tip? I don't mind tipping when a service is being performed or I'm being served. But when I have an issue with it when, like,
it's your fucking job.
If I go to a restaurant to pick up food, like if I order food ahead for pickup, I drive to the restaurant, pick up my food, I don't understand why I'm tipping. No one is serving me. The person at the register literally just goes and hands me my bag. Some places I get the bag myself because it's on the shelf. I just walk in, look, find my name, get my order, and go back to my car. So I don't understand how we got here. And a lot of people in the comments were saying, you know, tipping, it's gotten out of hand. So, you know, they give you that this is shared amongst everyone that works there at the end of the night.
This is my hot take. You know, you put a sound effect there or something. Oh, we don't have money for that? Okay.
I'll see what I
I get tipping. But I do have a significant problem with tipping when a crumble. Like, your job, your hourly rate pays you to create these cookies and put them in a box for people to pick up. So, yes, I'm pretty sure your pay is probably not super high and the tips could help, but you're literally doing what you got hired to and you agreed upon with that salary.
Right. Like, I too understand. Somebody who worked at Crumble basically said, I worked at a Crumble and trust me, this is one of the places where workers actually deserve tips. And I get that, you know, they make the cookies, they decorate the cookies, they deal with customers. But at the same time, if I'm coming there, I'm ordering a cookie, like this is the whole business model. This is what your job is. I don't mind tipping if I'm at a restaurant, someone is literally coming to me, telling me their name, serving me, asking me what I want, can I get you a refill? Like, this is the service industry. So tipping is customary there. And when we take our dog to the groomers, I tip there. It is a service that's being performed. I'm not bathing my dog. I'm not clipping his nails. I'm not doing any of that stuff. Someone else is. And if they do a good job at it, I don't have a problem with tipping them on top of what I'm paying them to do the service. When I'm just going and picking up my food, who am I? I should be getting tipped.
I mean, I think, look, I'm not going to tell you what my job is just in case one day I want to talk dirty about it. But like, I'm in the service industry. I provide a customer service. So should I be expected to a tip after every appointment I have throughout my day?
No.
Like, there's a point where my job is my job and I'm getting paid for that job. And there's the jobs that perform service. The people that came to wash our cars. They came here, they washed our cars. They did everything, detailed it. I gave the person a tip. I'm just like, the root of the problem is pay people what the fuck they deserve. Like, let's stop paying people $8, $9 a fucking hour. Pay them what they deserve. And then we can get this tipping culture under control because it's outrageous right now. Like, everywhere I go, they turn that little fucking iPad screen and I'm fucking scared to look at it. And I'm like, are they staring at me? Are they not staring at me? I'm like, I put no or 5%.
And that's the thing. When it first started happening, I was like, I don't want to put no tip because you feel embarrassed almost. But at the same time, if I'm ordering food and you're just handing me my food or wherever you are, I don't get why I should give you extra money on top of the service that I've already paid for. There's nothing outstanding about it. You were just going through the motions and doing your job. No one's going above and beyond at these places where I feel like anybody deserves a tip.
Exactly.
This is your job. This is literally your job. This is what you get paid for.
Yeah, like if we're basing it on the job, then everybody at this point should be tipped.
Everyone should get a tip, man.
I mean, like,
when I turn in a graphic, I should be like, I like a tip, please.
Yeah, at the end of every appointment I have at work, send a quick survey and it's like, here, tip to my Venmo.
Yes.
I mean, listen, I value everybody that's out there working on the hustle, 2-3 jobs. I get paying America sucks gigantic, you know what?
I get it.
But tipping is not the way that's going to get you there because at the end of the day, you have to share all them motherfucking tips with everybody else is working that day. It can't be that much. Maybe it is. I don't know. I just know that when I used to work in the restaurant industry, I was a host. I didn't get no tip. I had to put together to-go orders. I didn't get no tip. There was no option for tipping the host when I worked. It's just, the tipping culture is just a bit much at this point. And it's bad enough. Everything's going up in price. Yes, I don't need crumble cookies. That's an extra expense.
But if I want a cookie, I'm going to get a cookie.
I'm going to get a cookie. Now, if I get them delivered, I'm going to tip that person. Because they went, they picked that shit up for me, drove on this, whatever gas costs. I don't know. I own an electric car. But, you know, they drove to my house with my cookies.
Right.
So I'm going to tip them.
I mean, that's a whole other thing because Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, all of them charge more for the food on top of a delivery fee. And then a delivery fee, a service fee, and you need to tip the driver. So
your Wendy's is like $42,
right,
for 2 people.
But you know, it is a convenient.
It is a convenience.
It is an option. You don't have to do it. You can get your ass up and go to Wendy's, or you could be like us. Sometimes we land on the couch. We don't really feel like going to get it and have it delivered.
Right. I know what I'm signing up for when I go buy that.
Right. And I will always tip the delivery driver because I didn't have to go get in my car, drive somewhere, deal with traffic and whatever else, and get the food.
I agree. I just can't. Like, pay people what they deserve. And let's face it, folks. This is not going to be a popular comment, but like, you can't be working at Crumble expecting $48,000 to $50,000. It's just not going to happen. That's not the business.
I mean, you know what it is when you get into one of those types of jobs. It is what
Service
it is.
jobs. Service jobs never pay well.
This is what they pay. And yes, we need to make a livable wage for most Americans. There are people out here who aren't as educated or don't have the degrees and all of this. And I get that those people need to work and make money as well. But I'm just saying for corporations who make buku bucks and underpay their staff is where we need to be looking, except instead of the customer and the general public to be tipping people to increase their wage.
Their wage, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Pay an honest, fair wage for the jobs that they're doing.
Right.
Period. It's that simple. Bernie Sanders has been telling us forever. We just don't listen to him. We're like, he's a socialist.
All right. And speaking of politics, let's move to my favorite person to talk about. I mean, she's really not my favorite. I despise this woman, but for some reason, her constituents voted for her, and here she is. Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, as we know her. If you missed the first episode, this is how I will refer to her, as MTG. These people don't deserve the respect of the offices that they hold. But anyway, she recently spoke at a funeral home.
It does look like a funeral home. Or a church.
Like a community service or a church banquet. I don't know.
There's like fake stainless glass. I don't know what's happening.
Anyway, her issue.
It's a lot of like. There's people of non-diverse backgrounds in this picture.
He means white. This latest thing that has bothered her is solar panels. Actually, it's just green energy in general because she also has a problem with wind turbines. Apparently, she believes that if you use solar panels, then your lights go off at nighttime and you have to go to bed early. And she does not like that.
No, she likes to be a night owl,
apparently. And she's like, I love my refrigerator. Who doesn't love their refrigerator? And I'm just like, what does any of this have to do with green energy? Like, the most simplest thing you can do when you don't understand something is to Google it. We all have Google on our phones.
Oh, that's what her communications person tells reporters.
Yeah, I know, but it would help if the person that you are doing communications for also did her Googles, but she doesn't seem to do that.
And the fact that I expect dumb shit from MTG, not MTV. I expect her to say dumb stuff. I really do. But the amount of people applauding her, I felt like she was doing stand-up comedy when I watched the clip.
I mean, seriously, that's what most of these conservative talking heads that have gained popularity are. It's just a stand-up act at this point.
Because she would do like a point and then people would clap or laugh. And I'm just like, am I watching a comedy show or is this real life politics?
She said, and I quote, I like the lights on. I want to stay up later at night. I don't want to have to go to bed when the sun sets. That's not how solar panels work. That's not how any of this works. People have had solar panels for decades at this point.
I mean, just ask Texas. After the deadly winter storm, who was thriving? People with solar panels.
Exactly. But here we are, not understanding how things work, getting on a microphone, spewing out whatever you want to say. No one's checking facts, and people are applauding this.
That's all their buzzwords. That's all they do. Buzzword, 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 buzzword. Clap, clap, clap.
Honestly, like, America is in a scary place. And speaking of scary places, Florida is like at the top of that list.
Look, it's Florida and Texas. I think we're trying to compete against each other.
I don't know why.
One does one thing, and then Florida like, see you, bitch. I got something else.
It's like, hold my beer. I got this.
Oh, Lord.
So tell us what's been happening with the next thing Mr. DeSantis wants to do.
Well, DeSantis is now or they passed legislation already that allows military veterans to essentially teach without a degree. So somebody that's coming from military background that served at least 48 months of service, they do require like a minimum of 60 credits, which is like an associate's degree equivalent, and at least a 2.5 GPA. They'll allow them to waive their certification fee, and they can teach because the requirement is usually a bachelor's degree to be able to teach. Associate's degree is typically like a substitute, but let me not go down this educational pathway. So that's essentially the rule now. So his solution to the teacher crisis is not fixing the schools, paying teachers a proper wage, providing them with the resources they need. They're like, oh no, we're just going to let military vets come in and teach without any kind of education experience. He also thinks that teachers that do get degrees in education are essentially stupid because he said he much rather have people in place that have real life experience in the fields that they're going to teach.
But yes, I do understand that a veteran or someone from the military can have a different career outside of the military. It happens all the time.
Absolutely.
They come out of the military, they go into different trades or whatever. But like, people go to school to be teachers. Like, there's a whole learning path. You go to college, you get a degree in education to be a teacher.
I mean, there's students doing it right now, and they're pretty much, I mean, if I was a teacher getting ready to graduate or pursue my degree, and I see this, I'm like, so why am I investing 4 years and 40 grand of my life to learn how to become a teacher? And Florida's not even going to value me in that sense. Like, I get post vet life, it is a need. You know, when I worked at a specific university in a specific program, we helped transition some of those folks into a nursing career. So I get transition programs, but I think the thought process should have been pay for their education, get the bachelor's degree in education, and then we'll waive your teaching certification costs, whatever. That to me is more sense, but I just don't know how this is going to go. And I'm concerned for our students. And this is no disregard to the military or the vets. And he wants to do first responders now as well. So there, I value these people. Yes, they need to have careers after their service, whatnot. But all these years we've said teachers need to have proper education. And now where there's like, fuck it. You got 60 credits, 2.5, honorably discharged. Awesome. 5 years. There you go. Now they do have to earn their bachelor's degree. It says within that legislation, but it's like.
But they can start teaching without it.
Right.
Well, and therein lies the problem. How do you start teaching something if you haven't started your schooling for it?
I don't know. I really don't. And I read some off the wall comment on TikTok where it's like, what like from those basic knowledge foundational courses that they teach in school, what are you learning in the military in that regard? Military is a lot about leadership and stuff. And I'm not aware, but like you're not teaching algebra in the military to then come into the classroom and teach algebra, because these students need to have the proper foundation. So if not, when they go to college, they're going to be dumb as an ordinary, not going to be able to get into the colleges that they want. And all we have to blame is Governor DeSantis and his fucked up education department here in the state of Florida for not vetting things right, not thinking it through.
But this seems to be the trend going around as far as education goes, because a lot of Republican-led states are really trying to flip education, are trying to do the best that they can to, in my opinion, keep the population dumb.
I mean, they did it here with the Woke Act in Florida.
That's a whole nother topic. And like, I just don't understand. Like, there's this governor candidate, Kari Lake of Arizona, who wants to use the 1776 curriculum is the short term for it, Trump has also talked about this curriculum.
Trump had a committee. It was short-lived, but
As
he had
most
a
of his
committee
committees
to
are.
see how to implement the 1776 Commission education into the United States. I mean, he had one of the dumbest Department of Education secretaries in Betsy Ditzy DeVos. Like, she was the dumbest. She had no Sorry, I work in higher ed, and stupid things like this make me real fiery.
So Trump called this an inspired patriotic curriculum. To put that in layman's term, it's basically whitewashing education. It's something that we see them trying to do here as well. DeSantis has also tried to whitewash education, basically a retelling of history where, you know, people weren't slaves, they were volunteers. This country was built on the back of slaves, but, you know, we don't want to make little white children feel bad about themselves or their parents because they were taught history one day that people came over in a boat, kidnapped some people, brought them back here, and had those people build this country. We don't want to talk about that. I don't know anybody who would volunteer to hop on a boat with some strange people that you've never seen before and go with them to a different land and then start working for them for free.
I don't understand why we can't acknowledge our history and try to right the wrongs that were done from the beginning of our history in this country. Like, right down to killing the indigenous people to take over land. Like, this whole country has always been, it's been built and continued growing on like racism. And when people say there's no systemic racism here in this country, Mitch McConnell, there's a good job. I think he kind of sounds.
He sounds like and looks like an old turtle, but we're not here to.
It's so upsetting and infuriating that we can't that people have such a fear of our history. Nobody's currently blaming you unless you're still living that historic times of slavery. And there's people that still live in that mindset.
There's people that still live in the mindset that the South will rise again. The people out here with these Confederate flags, and y'all lost. I don't know why we're still talking about it, but here we are. And for all our white listeners who are on the same page as us, you know, we thank you for being an ally. But there are a lot of white individuals out here who don't believe that white privilege is a thing, who don't believe in racism, who don't believe the system treats people of color differently.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that is the reality that we live in. I don't know what reality you live in, but when someone tells you that you have privilege, that you have, you know, a leg up on them, believe them. There are certain things in this world that we can change, and there are certain things in this world that we can't change. If we could all work together to erase racism, and it's so simple. Don't be racist.
Yeah.
If we could somehow magically do that,
so simple,
then things would
but
be
you'd rather make it
a lot better. And is as easy as doing that. A lot of things would change in this country if, one, people minded their own business.
Preach.
If you feel a certain way about a certain group of people, keep that shit to yourself.
Keep it in your house.
And just let people live their lives. At the end of the day, that's all we want to do. Most of us got a 9 to 5. We go to work. We come home. We pay bills. We just trying to live out here, trying to survive and trying to enjoy ourselves while we're on this planet. There is so little time on this planet as it is for you to be so hateful to another group of people just because you don't like the color of their skin, their religion, or who they love.
Yeah.
It's annoying. Once again, to rope this back to education, the Don't Say Gay bill.
I mean, Florida, we just doing it. We good. I mean, the Don't Say Gay bill is one of the many craziest things I've ever seen that we needed to address, apparently. The Don't Say Gay bill, I'm sure everybody's heard about. It impacts classroom instruction, either by the school personnel or third parties, where they can't talk about sexual orientation or gender identity in the grades of K through third grade, in a matter that's not, quote, age appropriate, developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. When I take a pause on here because, first of all, I don't know what teacher is talking to a kindergartner without being provoked or asked about gender identity. Like, I don't like teachers already work in a level of fear because they don't know when a parent's going to come complain about basic things to them. So, one, I see this bill as unnecessary but very politically motivated to grab the most rightest people because they keep saying we're protecting our children.
These goddamn kids.
As a gay male that grew up knowing that he was different at a very early age, I didn't feel comfortable obviously talking to anybody about it, let alone my teacher. I know times have changed and kids do tend to want to reach out and talk. And we have pretty much taken that away from these teachers that are helping these kids develop. And to the people that might be listening, it's like, oh, gay is a choice. I got to tell you, you're a fucking idiot. Because if you think that gay people woke up one morning and said, I want to pick the most difficult way of life, I want to be judged, I want laws that are not going to protect me, I want to be potentially bashed because I'm gay, the person that I love, you real fucked up in the head. I'm sorry, you real fucked up in the head because though I am happy with the life I've chosen and where I'm at, not chosen, the life that was given to me by my creator, it was a struggle growing up. And these kids aren't going to have an outlet now because it's not even third grade, just third grade. Teachers don't know how to respond to this bill because parents can now sue teachers over things like this.
Yeah, it also makes it harder for teachers who may be a part of the community as well because you can't talk about your partner, you can't talk about your identity. Like, it's unfair. The GOP, the right has an unhealthy obsession with the LGBTQ community. I don't understand why, one, is any of your business. If you're not gay, then gay shouldn't bother you. Leave it alone.
And they're the party of parents should have a choice, like here in Florida. And they're even restricting families now. Like, if you take your daughter or son to a drag show, you could potentially be investigated now
or charged with the crime.
Right. So you're not letting parents have a choice in that matter.
Parents have a choice sometimes because Mr. DeSantis wanted parents to have a choice in a school curriculum. For example,
picking the books,
making sure that if there's something in there that you don't like, then, maybe we don't teach out of this particular book. The one strange thing was that math book. And I was like, I don't understand why we are harping on this math book. I think because one of the word problems may have had.
It was racially inclusive in its wording.
I'm tired.
I tell you, and this is one of the things we've talked about. Don't say gay bill. The Trevor Project came out and said, studies have shown that LGBT youth already face higher health and suicide risks because they're gay, and now then their cisgender peers or their straight peers. When those kids are given access to spaces that affirm their gender identity, the report says the suicide attempts are lower. So that's where my concern comes with these kids and the Don't Say Gay bill. Like, we're pretty much telling them, go back in your closet. There's nobody to talk to about it because you're just making a choice that's incorrect for your life. And when kids don't have an outlet, like, I'm sure you grew up gay, I grew up gay. It was hard feeling different and not being able to freely talk to somebody.
Yeah, it's just making it harder for the kids growing up these days. And I feel bad because I feel like we were at a place where the world was becoming more accepting of the gay community and things that were different. You see a lot more representation in movies and TV shows now, which is another thing the Republicans are trying to put the kibosh on, by making a warning now if there is any gay or trans activity that will happen in the show. They want to put that up front of shows now.
Yeah.
It's annoying. It's so annoying. And I'm at the point where I'm just like, what do you guys want? Do you want to put us all in detention camps? And just like, you're not going to get rid of gay people. Gay people have been around since existence, and they're going to be around gay forever.
Even if you don't believe it, we are born gay.
It is what it is. NTG, again, a dumb thing that she said is that straights are on the verge of being extinct because of gay people. Again, that's not how that works. Straight people are needed in order to make more gay people. That's just how that works. You dumb bitch.
It really is frustrating. And the bill too, it goes even as far as teachers have to tell parents. So now teachers might be put in a position to out a child and this was something that I saw, that if there's fear that the parents might retaliate to the child, that DCF should be notified, and the Department of Children and Families. I don't know if that's what's called everywhere, but at least here in Florida. So this child now has been outed, might go to abusive family, be removed by DCF and put in the foster system. That's absolute garbage.
It's so sad. And I applaud those teachers out there who, are still have a heart and will listen to a student or know when something's going wrong and will ask the student. They are risking their jobs, which they already don't get paid enough for. They are risking their reputation just to be able to help a child. And it's so sad that we have put so many restrictions on these teachers and put them in a place where they're not sure what they can and can't do anymore. Because one simple thing that they might think is okay might somehow get out to someone, an administrator or to a parent. And the next thing you know, they're like facing court time or being prosecuted, or any number of things could happen to them.
No, I mean, these teachers don't have money to be sued.
No, y'all don't pay these people enough to keep your kids out of trouble all day. I couldn't do it. It couldn't be me.
I know we're getting winded here with this, but I just had to say one thing there was a teacher here in the state of Florida. I believe it's somewhere up north. The community is predominantly Black and brown. And he made a concentrated effort to be inclusive in the people he posted around his classroom, like President Obama, MLK, people who were leaders in the movement in the Black and brown community. He was told that he needed to take down these photos because of Woke Act. Needless to say, this was a senior teacher who resigned on the spot because he did not agree with that. And I saw a TikTok that addresses, and I can't confirm if the lady really was a colleague of his. And she spoke so passionately about this professor, and that what he did was being culturally aware. He was aware of the students in the community that he was teaching, and he brought in those Black and brown references because he wanted them to know that, listen, you might be facing complications of being a Black and brown person, but look at all these people around that have been able to march on, fight on, and reach great success. That was his point in bringing these pictures throughout his classroom. Was he wanted to make sure the youth understood that they too have a place in this country to do great. And it's so disturbing to see that, one, he was asked to take these items down, and two, that a good teacher that cares about community, cares about diversity, is no longer in the teaching profession.
Well, you can't erase history. The internet exists. You can't erase that. Once it's on the internet, it lives forever. You can't erase gay people. You can't erase the trans. You can't erase any of this. You can do what you want to restrict it, but people will eventually become educated on the things that you try to keep from them. That's just the way the world works at this point. So let's move on to
let's end on a
happier
positive
things.
So my happy moment will be, again, talking about Benito, Bad Bunny. And speaking about inclusivity and people in the communities that are uplifted. To me, Bad Bunny has definitely been that for the Latino community. For my Latino listeners, you can probably attest to a strong level of machismo, and gay is not is not a word your family wants to hear. Though I think we've made strides. Bad Bunny has been pressing the buttons of that movement in terms of creating an environment that's inclusive for all. Gay, straight, bi, trans, white, black, yellow, Chinese, whatever. The way he's been able to just be immersive through his music is quite crazy to me. The man doesn't like to speak in English. Everything is done through Spanish music and the way he attributes to himself. Like he was featured on a magazine recently. I forgot the name of it. And they asked him about him wearing dresses. And he says, I don't wear it for attention. I wear it because I can and because I want to. And to hear a Spanish reggaetonero with the hood, like Bad Bunny's old songs, man, to see that he says something like it's so powerful for somebody that might be one of those young males that's questioning why they feel different. And being able to hear somebody at such a pedestal like Bad Bunny is amazing. And Boston, the city of Boston, acknowledged that. The mayor actually declared August 18th as Bad Bunny Day. And one of the things that she wrote in her declaration was that he has revolutionized artistic expression, redefined gender norms, and broken other barriers through his craft, reaching millions of people in Latin America through music, art, and most importantly, through inclusiveness. He has revolutionized not only music, but fashion by defying gender stereotype and the way people are dictated to dress. There was an interview recently where Bad Bunny talked about, he would go into the clothing stores when he was young with his mom, and he would see like the dress or the female leaning clothes, and he wanted to wear it. And quite frankly, I don't think Bad Bunny's gay. Like, that man talk a lot about chocha. If you don't know what that is, Google it. But the fact that he is so comfortable to do that makes me appreciate him even more as a person. And in society where we're talking about Don't Say Gay, the Woke Act, 1776 curriculum, it is great to see somebody that has such a platform is creating an environment of inclusion for all. Like at the Bad Bunny concert, we saw straight people. I saw gringos. We saw gay people. Like, these are things you don't typically see in a reggaeton show. And that is my happy moment for the week. And I'm going to step down from my Bad Bunny box. Because apparently I can't shut up about him lately.
He can't. He has played the album nonstop since the concert, before the concert, continues to sing lyrics of songs.
I listen through the album
all day.
At least once. I listen through the whole album once a day. And
it's fine. That's your artist. You stand for them. He has done a lot of great things. He, in a short amount of time, will add. Mm-hmm. I recognize him for his artistry. I enjoy his music. I enjoy the way he plays with music. I enjoy the things that he stands up for, the things that he speaks out against. I stand.
Do you have a happy moment? Because we did have a little bit of darkness here with some of this politics.
Happy moments. I mean, I just continue to love the Renaissance album, if we're going to talk about music.
He does a lot.
I mean, that album, like, listen to it lyrically. Like, yes, listen to it musically. That's what I feel like everyone does it first. Mm-hmm. But then, like most albums that really catch your attention, you go back and you listen to them lyrically. And though, yes, Beyonce is talking a lot of shit, because, I mean, she's that girl. No, we're not going to do that. That's what we're not going to do today on this podcast.
Let me just say this real quick. I feel like you and I'd be remixing Beyonce and Bad Bunny's album. Like I'll like scream some lyrics and then you scream some Beyonce lyrics. We're like totally remixing the whole album.
I just like Renaissance is my favorite Beyonce album now. I can say that because of the way that it makes me feel. I can listen to this album from beginning to end, and there's very few albums that I can do that with. Number one, am a Janet stan and fan.
Yes, I can attest to
It's
that.
Janet Jackson all day.
Don't you say nothing. Don't you say nothing in them comments because he's gonna come for you.
But this Beyonce album, just from top to bottom, is I don't know how she did it, but it's like the songs flow from one to the other, and sometimes you don't even realize you're on a different song because they transition and flow together so well. And then lyrically, she also, and I know Beyonce's been doing this for quite some time, but talks about how it's okay to be different, how to love yourself, how to love the differences in yourself, how to take the things that people have said about you and embrace those things and love those things. There have been plenty of things that people have said about her, including her, faking her pregnancy, her being too big or too skinny or too light or too dark. And she's like, I've been all these things, but despite what you say, I love myself. I love these things about me.
It's interesting you say that because I haven't connected lyrically with the album yet, Renaissance. But it almost sounds like both Bad Bunny and Beyonce came out with two albums that are in different languages, but touch on many of the same things.
The same principles, basically. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. They need to go out. They need to do a combined album now.
Oh my God. No. They can do a song together.
There's not a stadium big enough to fit Bad Bunny and Beyonce fans.
No. Oh Lord, Jesus. No, it's not. That's just going to have to be televised.
A 2-part show.
They're going to have to do that in the Coliseum in Rome. I don't even know if that's
I don't even think that's big enough.
But
we'll take one of the Olympic stadiums. Maybe that's what needs to be
done. But yeah, that's been my happy spot this week. I mean, I've been listening to the album.
You're doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. And every time I listen to it, I swear I find something new to fall in love with. It's a great piece of work. I'm looking forward to whatever she's about to put out visually, because recently she did put out a teaser on Twitter and YouTube.
And TikTok. She's on TikTok.
Yeah. Visuals for what I assume will be the visual part of Renaissance. It looks like Act 2 might be that. Not sure. But we'll see.
She likes to keep us guessing.
We'll see what happens. But yeah. So
thanks for joining us. Let's just say, we started this. This is only our second episode, but we started this and we're like, ain't nobody gonna listen to this. And it's great seeing people actually listening to it. So we appreciate you coming back for round 2.
Definitely appreciate the support. The analytics have shown that we have listeners all over the place, which is great. We have listeners from Mexico, from Belgium, California, Florida, of course. But again, thank you to everyone that's listening. If you haven't done so yet, probably because we haven't said it yet, please follow us on Instagram at mas_pod, MAS_POD. Questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at mannyandsean@gmail.com. That's MANNYANDSHAWN@gmail.com. We would love to start a segment where we kind of take questions from you guys, or
DM them, and you could send them in DMs via Instagram, right?
Yeah,
use either one of those.
DM,
send us your
email
questions.
us.
Maybe you have a topic in mind.
Yeah, we're open to criticism, but don't get crazy. And I mean, this is going to be evolving over time. We're new at this. Thank you for giving us some grace coming back. I hope you guys enjoy what we put out so far. We hope to make this fun and conversational, not something that's super
scripted.
scripted. But you know, you need some structure here and there. So we're going to do our best to do that and not get too off topic. But we like to laugh and have a good time too. So anyway, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Give yourself a hand for listening.
Oh my God.
But go out, do something great. And as Sean likes to say, do something good for yourself. Self-care.
Self-care, self-love. We're all about that here at Moss. So.
And then after you take care of yourself, do something good for somebody else.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for listening.
Bye, guys.
Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny. Un verano sin ti. Okay.
You won't break my soul.
All right, y'all.
You won't break my soul.
We're done. Goodbye.
You won't break my soul.
Un verano sin ti. Un
You
verano
won't break
sin
my
ti.
soul.
Hey,
I'm telling
hey,
everybody.
hey.
Hey.
Goodbye. See what we remix the album.
Bye.
If you could wanna hear